garden in the side.
Oh, right, yeah, oh, I've been there.
They have, say,
And then there's a street that goes across it.
yeah, so that's, I've just copied and pasted that, made that.
You would think.
That's a good source for.
Yeah, that's a good source, and then, as a matter of fact, since you've been there, you understand, they have all those plans down there.
They do, I know.
Someone one time took me to Blueberry, and they come in, and they, big ride,
Go down
already
there and see
there.
it, right. Just no Norway maple.
Yeah, that was a little scary. We were getting,
A little overkill.
As you were talking.
they have a horrible color too.
Yeah. Listen, I get
I think
yellow
we have a lot
cars
of them in
every
our
year.
yard, the more you talked about them, I think we have them.
I get,
Maybe
I had my cars washed yesterday, right? They're yellow today.
Especially if you have
Thank
a drought.
you.
Right.
They're not interested
Good
in
night.
your
Yellow.
Good night.
If it wasn't that they shaded the front bedroom, I'd have blown them up.
I'll double check with the boss, I like that, all the front stuff. I don't know.
Is it a male or female shepherd?
It's a female.
It's a.
I live
Do you have a yard?
Yeah.
I love German shepherds. I had
Colbert
that
and Martin. Yeah, you were across diagonal. I was cruising myself.
She's more of a black.
Because it was a neighbor.
So-
I'm the butter.
Alright,
Tan look, she's a black.
back in session, business
I got
open.
mine from Suki Campbell.
Okay, the next item, old new business.
Yeah, why don't we do 37 James since they're here?
Good
Thanks.
suggestion.
Quit watching that one.
Okay, we went out to the site on Monday, and met you all there.
We're actually the South Street people, just so you know.
Right, I understand that.
Okay, so you're representative, okay.
Yes.
And is there anything you wanted to mention or discuss?
Before you ask them, was the resident of the property in question notified of the hearing tonight?
It's not a
It's
hearing,
not a-
it's
Or
just old
of
new
the,
business.
right, that it was gonna be on the agenda?
No, this is, it was on the agenda.
Right.
And it was in time to be on the, but it's under administrative report.
Right, but was the resident aware that we were going to discuss it tonight?
Well, I didn't notify him. Yeah, you guys are out there.
We were talking to him, but did anybody
I-
say we were gonna talk about it tonight?
I didn't.
I didn't hear anything.
I didn't. No. You know, we can.
So I can give my report,
Good.
and you guys can fill in what happened on the site visit, that's what it's meant for, but, you know.
Okay, I'm not suggesting we postpone it at all, but I just think that it would be appropriate that he be here in the future when we discuss the,
Right.
discuss the site.
Right.
And I think Citizens Open Forum takes care of the other part, so, you know, if the applicant, this attorney wants to talk, not the applicant, but the abutters.
Sure,
Yeah.
no, I'm not objecting to that at all, I just think that it would be, more productive to the process if he was here.
Well, that's all true, but we did, I mean, we might as well start right now, is that okay? So,
Yeah.
I was contacted by the, town manager, and he said, did I know that such and such was happening, and he relayed a email to me, and I had gone down, this was on a Friday or Saturday, can't remember when I did the work. I was looking through the GIS on the town website at my own house, and I noticed that there might be a wet area, and I got back there on Monday, and I viewed it from South Street, and, I noticed that the entire hill was,
Gone.
you know, gone. There was no trees, there was no nothing there. And what I found very curious is that there were wetland flags hanging in the wetland. And I couldn't understand how these two things could, you know, be on the same property. So from that point on, I contacted the building inspector, and I talked to the assistant planner, and we put some sign on the driveway, on the doorway, and on the garage. And the next thing I know, I'm contacted by.
What did the sign say?
It just said, your work is in, appears to be in conservation jurisdiction, do not continue, please contact this office. So,
How soon after that did you hear from somebody?
almost by Tuesday, I was was called by, David Peckerich, I think is his name, from RJ O'Connell. And he said he represents the owner and that they had just been brought in. They were only dealing with the inside of the house and the designs that were needed on the inside of the house. Now they're gonna be handling the entire project. And he wanted to bring me up to date along with the plan that he had. So I have the plans that he passed out, so I might as well hand those out right now.
Are these the same I have?
Guys, I have more,
Thank you. Yeah, these look
These
like
the
the
same
ones
one?
we
These
were
are,
looking at.
Okay, I have them.
There you have one, so I have extras now.
Can I have one, Chet? Just-
Sure thing, yeah. Here you go, those are two separate plans, they go together, so,
Okay.
this is proposed and this, okay, good. Mark that. So they showed me, they came in and they talked, and it was Dave, and it was a wetland scientist that would present this project, and what they told me was that they were only dealing with the inside of the house, and they had nothing to do with this clearing in the back. But now that they've been brought on, they've told their client not to do any more work, and they're gonna come in with a plan showing what his client would want there, and some trees, a swale, and some sort of retaining wall, because if you notice that there's almost a 20-foot difference
Right.
between, the bottom
Right.
and where the
Yep.
addition is. On one of the plans, it's pretty light, but they also drew in what they expect to kind of make into flat or slightly graded lawn. And that's on the proposed condition plan, yeah. They did stop right at our 35-foot area, that's where the tree row is, and, at this point, we asked them that we could verify the wetland flags, and that they would put in erosion control, but as I understand it, no erosion control has gone in yet. And we-
Monday, they assured us it would be in the next day.
It's
Whether or
not in.
not that happened, I don't know.
I have
It
been
didn't- no?
told that it's not in yet, and
Well, if
I
I
haven't
could
got
interrupt,
permission to go in and
that's a problem, cause
check out the
we were
wetland
pretty emphatic about that, and there's a lot of exposed soil out there.
Cause he said he would've put it in earlier, but he had a stop order.
Yeah,
He was waiting.
Right, the real key is to get the erosion control
Yeah.
in ASAP.
well, he got a stop order from the building inspector,
Okay.
yeah. So that has nothing to do with,
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm not sure it's clear to them that we.
no, I got that.
actually, it was unclear or misunderstood. He
Right.
thought it meant everything.
Right.
We need to notify him tomorrow morning to get that silt fence in, 'cause it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, more
As
more
part of,
Friday.
this discussion, I've prepared
An
an
enforcement order?
enforcement order,
Okay,
asking for certain things to be done. And I can get that directly to all two parties, I'm sure of that, and then the owner, it's just a trust, but I can send it to, 37 James Road, which was the address of the trust. So, from what the rest of the conversation is, with the consultants, they want lawn, they want an area that he can walk on and use, and he's gonna put in trees around the edges, but one of those edges will have a swale in it, and the other one is going to be some sort of retaining, wall, maybe not hardscape, maybe some sort of, I don't know, core log situation. They didn't really, have too much, work on that, and I think they're still shooting the elevations out there, so they don't really exactly know where they're at. That's all I have to date. I tried to call the wetland scientist one time, and we didn't connect on a phone call.
Did you or the owner or the consultant indicate they'd be submitting a notice of intent?
That's what they're saying now, that they're going to, the next time we hear from them, they'll be they'll be submitting an NOI for the work.
Do you have copies of the enforcement order, or you're just gonna read it?
I
to
do
us?
not have copies.
Well,
of
just
the
tell us what you're
enforcement
gonna do. Tell
order.
us
It just
what-
says, the extent and type of the activity is clearing trees and shrubs, filling and grading within a 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering with vegetated wetland without a permit, approximately 9,000 square feet. Then it gets along, it asks you some additional questions and what the owner needs to do. And he's hereby requested to stop all work, prepare the site and planting plan, clean up the disturbed areas, install erosion control and stabilize the site. And then to back that up, there's another area that kinda allows you to give more detail. The property owner must stop all the work immediately, spread out salt marsh hay over the entire upland area and stabilize all areas of unauthorized disturbance. Install erosion control, silt fence and hay bale at the 35-foot jurisdictional line, which is also the edge of disturbance. The erosion control must.
Well, can I just stop you there for a moment? Could you add a phrase there, when you say install the erosion control 35-foot line? Then we need to specify that he does no more clearing of vegetation to install that silt fence. In other words, if he has to come upgrade in a little bit,
Yeah.
that's fine, but we don't want him cutting more
It probably wasn't clear,
vegetation.
but that was the /edge of disturbance part of the sentence. But I
Okay.
can
Yeah.
make that
I think
more understandable.
I understand why you say that, because those flags to me seem to be a little bit inside of vegetation
Me
in
too.
a number
There's
of
some
little pockets.
trees all around there, right?
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
so it could be, the silt fence would either be at the edge of native vegetation or the 35-foot line, whichever is
farther from the wetlands.
farther from the wet.
Right.
Right.
So then we pull it up
I'm
about
tempted to
150
say,
feet.
what if we just told them at the edge of vegetation,
That might work, but would they,
But there may
without
be,
checking the whole line?
yeah, I'm
the-
not sure.
the problem, I think, is it might not work, so it's 35 feet or the edge of vegetation, whichever is further from the
Yeah, I
wetlands.
think
and that-
further
that'll
is the
work.
word we want. Or farther.
Far.
So you don't want them to follow the tree line, you want them to be further out now.
Well,
No,
Well, it's understood, I mean, to me, it's understood that you do not cut down trees to put in.
I wouldn't
Right,
rely
right.
on that understanding.
As specific as possible.
we understand that, you understand that.
No, no, I
You wanna
get
make
it.
sure he understands.
Well, here's the thing that you don't know, during that conversation, they asked me, if I would allow the erosion control at the 25-foot, because they are intending to use that 35-foot for their purposes.
No,
Well, no is right, cause it's, we were saying right there, it has,
Yeah,
we're gonna just maintain the site at this moment.
right.
Okay, so, edge of disturbance.
Well, he was told don't cut any trees if you're gonna put that in.
Right, but we need to.
yeah,
put it
but
in.
he also
Right.
said he was
Right.
gonna put it in yesterday, and
Okay, so, at the edge of disturbance, the erosion control must allow animal passage in 3 areas along the fence. Then it says present a site plan and a restoration plan at the June 11th meetings, basically a month from now. Conservation minute must include measures to remove invasive species, this is just boilerplate. If they are discovered, the homeowner and agent must monitor the site for erosion. If any erosion is observed, contact our office. And then it gives us the right to enter the site after this is mailed.
do we think he would be there tomorrow?
Well, Dave's only on Montvale Ave.
Yeah.
I can ask someone from RJO.
RJO is right here.
And,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we can try to define where that erosion
That
control
would
is
be
going.
great, if you could do that tomorrow, that'd be
And
great.
I think if you call Dave, the head RJO,
Yeah.
and make sure they understand, cause they, now that they've committed to doing the exterior work as well as the interior work.
Another addition, if you don't mind, if there's concurrence, that date of June 11th for the restoration and planning plan unless a notice of intent is submitted prior to that date, in which case the notice of intent must include that restoration and planning plan.
Right, so that's fine, but, yeah, I agree, because I kinda dragged my feet on this because they came in and they said, we're gonna stop work and we're going to submit an NOI. And, so that's great, but as soon as that is submitted, this doesn't mean
Goes
anything
away.
anymore.
Right, exactly.
In terms of coverage until that notice of intent is submitted, should we put, a deadline, a specific date for putting the erosion control?
Tomorrow.
Okay, I think it would be good, we've omitted dates in the past, and it's
Then
kind of
probably
hit us.
we need to put a
So I
date
think
in
we
it
should put some
tomorrow.
I
dates
agree.
in.
I think that he had, I think there's, the consultants wanna get the work done. I'm just kinda speculating here that there might be an issue between, getting the funds. I don't think the, owner, I just think someone else is paying for this, it might be a big conglomerate, and it takes a while to
Get traction.
loosen up those funds to get something going, so don't anticipate one day is gonna be, enough. So what would the next step be once that doesn't
Well,
happen?
Chuck, he told us on Monday, he was all set and he put in the erosion control the next day. And now it looks like Thursday at the earliest is when it's gonna go in.
Well, I
And
think,
if we remember that other violation, I forgot the name of the street, but it was off, Van Norden, maybe it was Van Norden. When they had that violation, he had that erosion control in within hours.
right, but I think the issue is, that's because that particular homeowner had a checkbook
Yeah.
and was writing the check. I think what I hear Chuck saying is somebody else is likely paying for this.
I mean, I'll go out there and I'll get Dave, give him a
Right.
call in the morning, I'll try to
Right,
get some
get
time
out
with
there.
him, cause I have Friday too that I could do that.
Right.
And just make sure that this,
Right, and the major reason we want it ASAP is because it's supposed to rain like frog strangler on Saturday or Friday.
Talking about 5 or 6 days of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about,
Yeah,
but the
really
serious
bad.
downfall,
Friday,
downpour.
Saturday.
The exposed dirt, I mean, yes, it is a pretty significant slope. The exposed dirt piles are, from what I could tell, are at or around the 100-foot line. In the vicinity of the 100-foot, line.
They actually, I think they may be even, well, the biggest piles are outside the 100 foot.
Or outside,
But there is
Um,
exposed.
There is exposed
So-
soil within the 100 foot, there's no question.
You're talking about
Yeah.
right about here, right?
yeah,
I could put
and
it
there's,
on the
and there's
board
very
next
clear
time.
cutting within the 100-foot, which does increase the likelihood of erosion. But, for the sake of, I agree with you that I'd like to see it tomorrow. I myself am willing to give, a couple of days, like to Friday.
Well, I
and I-
understand that, I mean, I think it's the old story of you wanna be flexible on the one hand, on the other hand, God's gonna rain on us.
I know,
And if God rains on
Oh, I
us,
know.
and
It's
there's
all
no
good.
erosion controls, we're gonna get a lot of silt in the wetland.
right.
And you never can anticipate, but if the erosion control is not there, we get a big rain and we have that pile of soil, some portion of it ends up in the wetland, somebody might have to
No,
excavate that.
Oh, they will have to excavate it.
So I'm looking at for
So-
his interest also.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright, so here we get some pictures going
Yeah.
on.
yeah, I have that view. You do too.
That might not be the best
There's
picture.
a lot of pile.
Yeah,
that
that's
mulch?
really just
Right
showing the
about this,
pile.
it's really
Right.
steep.
Is that mulch, the
No,
brown?
No, that's soil.
That's
Yeah.
soil.
I know, but there's a light brown
That's
pile
just-
of pie, that's
There's
clearly
leaf
the
litter
soil.
in the back of
Yeah,
the site. It's the stuff I didn't walk on, cause I had one tick bite this month and I want to,
That right there is more like organic matter,
right,
roots are in it, I can see that from here, there's a lot of
Okay.
roots and whatnot.
right.
okay.
So let's switch this to the next one.
Yep. And that's the area where the trees were obviously removed and root balls ripped up.
But the erosion just in front of the house there, that's closer than 100 foot.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
within.
This side of the
Yes.
house right here, as I measured it, well, we have a plan, does it show?
Yeah.
Is that the 100
No, that's
The
outside
100
of the
foot
100
just
foot.
touches the edge of that house, but then it bellies.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
It touches there, but if you look at the plan, it bellies again, yeah.
Actually, part of that pile might be within the 100 feet.
I think so.
Close.
That's from my memory, sorry.
See what I'm talking about, Chuck, the belly?
Yeah.
In other words, it's sort of a two-lobed, looks like the fuselage of a Boeing 303.
Can you break that down for me, Doug?
Yeah, so it's right there. We got
Boeing
one-
Stratocruiser, if you're an old person, you knew an airplane which had two bows, or Curtiss C-46s have one.
I would say it comes right across like.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
it bellies.
And then up into this area here.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to just, the 100-foot line just really skims that near corner.
See what this last picture is, more of the wetland area.
Right,
Yeah.
You know, what are we looking at here? We're looking at a lot
Yeah.
of stumps.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I'm sure they were gonna pull out the stumps like we're doing here, but that's been stopped at this moment. I mean, to me, where that erosion control would be is right along this
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
That's pretty
agree
much
with
what
that.
we.
But those stakes are maybe another 15 feet in the woods.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to go down there. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to really take a look at one of them, which seemed odd, cause it was, I don't know if anyone else spotted this, it looked like the slope came down and stopped and then it became flat, and then about
Yeah.
4 feet in from this flat area, there was a flag.
Um,
I didn't understand that, so.
But there were two flags, there were red flags and pink flags.
That would be between 6 and 7 on the plan, maybe?
Oh, we didn't check those numbers, Terry. We should have checked the
somebody-
numbers. I didn't know we should have done that.
Yeah, we did not verify the flags.
We
On
looked,
our
Terry and
site
I saw
visit.
3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I saw 3 or 4 of them, they run along, about like that.
So that's,
They're about 15 feet below the tree line.
there you go, there's one flag right there.
Okay.
It is up the slope, you expect that kind of action, that one looks fine, I guess, but the other ones wouldn't come in and, you know, without permission, reluctant to go onto the site,
Yeah,
so.
you should
That
have
one's not so
good party
good, but this
repellent.
one's better.
Yeah,
I'm prepared to make a motion that we accept the enforcement order and sign it.
Second.
those in favor? Okay. Any comments or questions?
No.
Something when we were out on the site visit, I was, I was standing at that area near the edge of the fence, and then looking near your driveway, and then looking to the right towards the wetland. I thought I saw, some brush debris and leaves and, extra, sticks and fill, put on top of that slope.
Would that have shown on that first picture you had? Did you talk about?
It wouldn't have shown because you were looking perpendicular
No,
to
it's
it,
the
but you
other
can
way.
go back, yeah,
It's that way.
Oh, it's that way. Well, that's-
yeah,
down
right
there.
there,
This area.
so,
Yeah.
dumping within the wetland itself is prohibited, so, I just wanna encourage you to clean some of that stuff out, and as much as possible.
We don't know whose property it's on.
I think it's yours, maybe
Well, we don't
Oh.
happen to have
this other plan,
yeah, we don't happen to have, we don't really know. What we have is one lot. We don't know what the other lots are. So.
well, if you,
Obviously,
if there's any on your property, try and
Sure.
Sure.
I'll take care.
pull off the.
but the
Pull it out.
fundamental problem we have is,
Yeah,
we were looking
yeah.
at one plan and it appeared to
Okay,
me
sure.
that much of what was dumped looked like it was on the 37 James Road property, but I'm not sure. Cause we were stuck with one plan, with nothing with the butters and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So were trees cut on your property, or do you know?
I don't know. I've been there for a while, but I don't
get involved in the,
No, I mean, with this current situation we're talking about.
I'm not really sure, cause the line is so,
Okay.
It hasn't been flagged yet.
right.
That's one of the things that Jack Solansky is flagging.
Yeah,
I suspect there might have been, but I don't know, I can't say for sure without having the place surveyed.
It's hard to tell.
Right, it's very hard. to
Based
tell.
on, because it isn't completely flagged, and when we get it flagged, then we'll know better.
Mhm.
You know, we were sort of eyeballing it at that stage.
Chuck, did they pull a building permit before they did this? There's no need to, right?
No, this work doesn't need a building permit. But, there's work on the house that did require a building permit. Things look like they've been upgraded, throughout. So that's why I mentioned, to the building inspector to go down there and take a look, and I talked to him twice, and the second time he was gonna put a stop, order in. I don't know if that happened, I didn't see him today. So, but to me, it looked like, new siding, possibly electrical upgrades, some work in the house, inside,
Yeah, and obviously, if they put on as the resident who will be moving in, pointed out, there's nothing in the house currently that's handicap accessible. So the proposal would be for the addition to provide a handicap bathroom and handicap access.
right.
Which is why they were gonna propose the addition, and my guess, and this is a wild ass guess, is that probably what they did was to upgrade the utilities in the house, anticipating an addition. I mean, typically, if you're gonna do a large, particularly handicap addition, you wanna make sure all the plumbing's on before you start up front. Because obviously, it's easier to do the upgrades when you haven't got an excavated foundation.
So,
Can we answer any more questions for you guys?
Well,
Appreciate
well said. Thank you.
hearing about it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you letting us, use your property.
No problem, thank you.
And for the record, so we're trying to communicate with a butter.
Yeah,
And so
my
we anticipate
sense,
things are gonna work out.
I was,
but-
have to give you guys a compliment. I'm not sure everybody would have been as understanding. Difficult situation, but, I applaud you as a person. I can't do this as a commissioner, but as a person, I applaud you for trying to work with him and trying to work it out.
Thank you.
It's the sensible and humane thing to do, even though, I think if I were in your boots, I'd be seriously aggrieved initially and
Very much so.
then calm down, okay? And you did both, which is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, let's move on to other old new business.
so we have this to sign,
That's the enforcement order.
enforcement order, and we have, the RDA for 174 is to sign.
Okay. And you did go to Oak Street too.
And then
Oak Ridge, rather.
If that's something else, we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Do you wanna, what would you like to, I'll let you, Chuck, sort of.
So if we just, old new business, the start of old new business, we have the minor projects. So, 22 Whittier, there was a shed I approved, it was outside the 50, it worked with our, definitions. Then
Who's the
I-
applicant?
Do you know people on Whittier?
Jack,
Yeah.
22 Whittier. Scott Sides.
No, Jack's further down. Jack is at the infamous cross-country turning start radius. It turns out that the track team and the cross-country team essentially run from there's a circle, a dead end loop at Whittier,
Yeah.
because it's across the other side of the creek that goes. into
Across that
County
little
Road.
bridge, the little
And
footbridge.
They all walk across the bridge and form up in 10,000 sweaty young men and women start running.
Did something,
This is across from the school?
Chuck on
Yeah,
Forest,
it's, you know where the,
on Forest,
Where
I'm
are the
gonna put
bridges
a
that
little
go
note
pine
here that
for
says
Yeah.
at least
clearing
3 trees.
right, it's
Okay,
right
yeah.
across from the edge
Yes,
of
alright,
the,
alright.
where they put in that new traffic island.
yeah,
going
please
up.
write that in, cause
Right across from there, Whittier.
we didn't have that to
ends.
write on
Okay.
before. Then another minor project came in for 40 Glenmere. I don't know the woman's name, but this was 2 substantial pine trees in her property, and she wanted those taken down using a minor project permit. And, to me, they were too healthy. They were close to the house, but this was something that I think I'd like the commission to look at, and I advised her to, file for an RDA.
How close were they to the resource area? Excuse me, the resource
Probably
area?
pretty close, they're probably within 25 to 35 foot of the resource area, probably within same amount to the house. They weren't diseased, you know, they were in
Yeah.
good shape.
And they were white pines?
They were white pines.
You gotta take a look at it. Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
it's very different on this 170, forest that we saw. Those were pretty sick trees,
Yeah.
or dead.
Two of them have been dead 20 years, probably.
Yep.
Right, the 2 big ones have been dead 20 years, if not 30. They're seriously dead trees. Okay.
So that's, so now we're on to, we talked about James Road, and then I had the report at 223 Haverhill Street that some trimming, and tree removal was going down. I actually met Anik out there, and we talked to the owner, and kinda got a good understanding of what they were doing. Now, the trimming wasn't a problem, but there was one tree taken down and, kinda left in the resource area, and we just educated, the homeowner, and she said that she left all the cut up, tree there because she wants to, refinish it and turn it into chairs and whatnot, so she's gonna bring it up on her patio and do some work on it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Is that another tree or whatnot?
The whatnot, yeah, she's gonna make whatnots on it.
Whatnots, yeah.
Well, a lot of them, the
Whatnots,
amount
they're,
of tree
they're better
stumps she
than
has.
Norway maple stone.
Or the knotwood?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So Stonewall Road, came, there was a call, Stonewall Road, I went down there, there's logs on the side of the Stonewall Road, and I guess, some soiling is going to happen, but from the tracks around the house, it, you know, to me, the trees had come from the back, and that's, cedar swamp, and so I contacted the homeowners, and we were kind of trying to figure out a time when I could go down and see when this is happening, but all the times that are available, I can't make, so I was wondering if someone from the commission would have available time during the morning between 8 and 9 PM, or late
AM?
AM, sorry, yeah, or later at 6 and 7 PM.
What day?
What day?
Well, that's just any day.
Any day.
We could just try to set it up if I could find someone who those times are available.
What were the times again?
Between 8 and 9?
8, 9,
In
and,
the morning,
yeah.
6 and 8.
6 and,
6 and
6 and
I
8.
think 8 and 9
Or we're
seem
gonna
to
have
be.
6 and 7 PM, you
6
said.
and 7,
I
yeah.
cannot make that this week.
I
Okay.
can, how about early next week? Oh, shit, I can't do it early next week, I take that back.
I could go out in the morning, but it would be like a meeting at 8:30. Just drop the kids off, drive over.
Says I plan to be home Friday. Now Friday I have a workshop, a vernal pool workshop.
Yeah, you
Yep,
can't
I'll
be there.
say tentatively, let me, I'll say yes right now, and then I'll go home and check my calendar.
Okay, so I'll try to
8:30 Friday.
Maybe it would be best just to,
Should I email you?
I'll email both of you and just say that,
Yep.
take it from there.
Yep. Sure.
I think it looks like Friday you know, he can be home pretty much that day.
Okay.
Okay.
And you'll give me his name.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's that. And then I have 2 emergency permits, and we don't usually see a lot of emergency permits, but the reason why this is happening, it's probably gonna happen into the future, is because we don't have a general permit for this town at the moment. I talked to George about this and, kinda reminded him, and, he said he can't get to it for another month or so. But,
Tell them we're gonna start charging them for emergency
Yeah.
permits.
well, there has to be some sort of permit.
Yes.
Just can't-
Yeah, no, I
just
What,
can't-
what is this,
can't
West
happen.
Street?
No, no.
No, it's across town.
So this is, the emergency permit was, a tree was deemed dangerous at the Perfecto site, and a letter was sent, yeah.
Right.
It was, well, the tree, I could show you the
Yeah,
picture,
we
but
saw
anyways,
it.
it was leaning, and that other building is right there. I mean, it's just right
Yeah.
on the other side of Walker's Brook on that,
Right,
you know,
the apartment
within
building.
7 feet, so it was,
Is this on the bank of the
it was on the
river?
bank, and the engineering, I mean, they put a lot of work into this. They determined that
this picture
each
here?
owner, yeah, owns to the center of that Walker's Brook, so it was up to Max to take care of it. So I wrote the emergency permit and,
Is the permit to engineering or to Max?
to Max, it's
Right.
his responsibility.
Right.
Unlike the next one, which was,
Well, before
Sure.
we, is he going to,
I think it's already taken. What,
did he grind the stump? Did he rip the stump
no,
out?
no, no, he was, so, I know all those people over there now, Max and Andy and the guys working on the site, because they
You're
call me a lot, and, you know, so anyways, I've talked to Max about it, I talked to Andy about it, and they were just gonna cut it and leave the stump, and he was just gonna grab it with one of his machines and pull it out of there after it was cut. Not the stump,
Just the
just the
tree.
tree, yeah.
Okay.
He knows to leave the stump.
Okay.
Good.
And the second one?
I was just wondering, are you worried about that?
I am, because that stream bank and that stream is in such bad situation, and all
Right,
those
but-
soils are highly erodible and.
But if he leaves the stump in,
Yeah, well, I just wanna make sure that he did.
well, and, you know, the truth is, as you well know, if they don't get the top of the tree out of there, it's gonna rip out in a bad rainstorm
Right,
anyway,
yeah.
so.
It wasn't a, you know, you can see it's not a very big thing. Andy wasn't worried about it at all. No, he's gonna just grab it and
Okay.
bring it out. The next one, 34 Glenmere Circle, just like 40 Glenmere Circle for the minor project permit. 34 had 4 trees, 3 the owner needs to take care of, alright? He got a minor project permit for his 3 trees because they were all leaning towards his house and within striking distance. There was just a big heavy lean on those things. But he also contacted the tree warden, and there's a tree in back of that, in back of those 3 that he's taking down, that's leaning on him, that needs to come down too. And I was told by the tree warden, once the town knows about it, it has to happen. So he sent me an email, we discussed it, and with that, I issued an emergency permit to take that dead leaning tree down.
Just out of curiosity, so why is the tree warden involved?
It's on town property.
Oh, it's on town property,
Yeah,
oh,
so
oh.
which is only, you know, they're only 10 feet apart, maybe 15 feet apart.
Okay.
That's what's
Okay.
going on there. And the next thing is just a minor plan change.
Yeah, we took a
Turn
look at the site, Anika wasn't with us, it's pretty straightforward, he basically wants to put in a kind of, scalloped vinyl picket fence, so there's no, critter problem. He's putting it up gradient of the retaining walls,
That's staying.
that's staying.
Okay.
There,
That's
there
staying.
is a rock retaining wall on the edge of the channel.
Mhm.
And then there is a new timber retaining wall back retaining his property, up gradient of the rock wall, which is up gradient of the channel. The fence will go inside the new timber wall and inside all the rocks.
Okay.
And his
By inside, you mean upgrading?
upgrading.
Yeah.
And his whole, his 2 purposes, he's got some young kids and wants to keep them out of the water. And, the other issue is, he said there is an awful lot of casual dumping, people will come by and flip the dog package and do those kinds of things, cans. And he hopes that the fencing will at least.
But his fencing is gonna stop right after that tree, and
Right.
there's gonna be a lot of open space. It's
Right,
not
there
gonna
will be,
stop them from
it's not
going-
gonna stop him from putting it in the channel, but
Yeah.
it may slow it, it'll keep his property, that's what.
It'll keep his property better, but I don't think it's gonna affect anything.
No, it's not gonna affect
But
anything.
it's all an existing lawn,
It's all
Yeah.
developed.
and it's, some
developed
of
site.
some small portion of the existing lawn will be given back to Mother Nature.
So we'll,
Oh, that's right, yeah, anything on the other side.
I move we, issue, a minor plan change, to the existing order of conditions.
Great.
Second? Yep, all those in favor?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's all I have, except, you can ratify the emergency
Yep.
permit, and you're gonna have minutes.
Oh, right, I
Did they
submitted,
get printed out?
Yes.
Here's,
Did Ann,
with changes,
did Ann print those out?
I think, yeah, Ann did. So
Whoops.
give it to you.
I didn't get any changes. You need
Thank
to
you,
email
Jeff.
it to me.
was this, the plan change?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's,
That's the emergency
right,
order.
there's another one I have to.
68 Sanborn. 68, would that be 92? No. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what 68 Sanborn. The DOI. I'm sorry, I can't remember that particular project.
He was,
It was too long ago.
he's putting on a small addition on the back of his house.
Oh, all right.
On 14-6, we're talking about 9 Smith, we're gonna cut down that, a lot that big pine tree,
Right,
and then neighbor has the same address as, so he's not 9 Smith, he's the next one over.
Mr.
So I'm
Signetti.
not sure what address he is. I didn't see him listed on the,
Yeah.
people for that.
oh, he should be on that list, shouldn't he?
He should have been on the list, and.
He didn't sign in.
But you can just
We
take
can
the number
ignore,
out.
we can ignore
I don't know
anything
where
he
the number
said.
is.
At the top of the page, Kim, on the page 2, there's a gentleman mentioned,
Well, he's
and
next
we
door.
don't know his address.
Oh,
So
Whatever,
you can just omit,
yeah, I'll omit it.
omit the number, and
And said you didn't sign in.
he's too angry to sign in.
I don't know.
He wasn't angry when he got here.
Maybe.
Was it?
I think we alienated him.
Simmered, you know.
He should have signed in.
Well, I think legally, if he doesn't sign in, doesn't have the right to comment.
Good point.
I mean, the difficulty is, he probably had every right to comment, but if he isn't in a part of the public record, you can't attribute it to him, so.
He would be chagrined about that.
Well, you don't sign in, you don't play by the game,
C'est la guerre.
c'est la guerre. C'est la vie.
What are we signing now?
That's the second
Something
emergency
else.
order.
C'est la mer.
The second mortgage on my house.
As well as c'est la vie.
Oh, French jokes. Well, the
Oh,
Canadians
that was an
play.
Italian joke.
Oh, sorry.
Salami.
So, oh,
It's what you put on your,
some,
I move we accept the minutes from the April 23rd meeting with the additions and the indicated in the version that was just distributed.
I seconded, even though I wasn't here.
okay,
But as we know, it's an administrative duty, and I can second it, so.
okay, all those in favor?
Well, is everybody good with the changes I made? That's
Yeah.
my memory. I'm not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sign a mortgage based on my memory.
No.
You have several times.
Could you send it to me? send me the changes? I didn't get them.
You know, I might not have.
Do you want me to send, did I get these? I can send them right now.
Okay.
That's easier.
You know, you probably weren't on that list, just Dan
Right.
probably was on that list. Is
Look
that,
for the
no,
easy-
you
the
sent it to
ripples
us.
in
I
the
sent
ether.
it to you. It's okay. It's just easier if I
Okay.
just accept
Sure,
it.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else you have, Chuck? Because we're.
Yes, I just wanna make sure that
Oh,
on,
we didn't vote.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did?
We had 4 hands up. You had your hand up.
Wow.
He was still up from second.
Jay? No.
Honest, Jamie, I saw you do it.
I'm sure.
So we need to, if the commission wants, it sounds like the commission would like to go back out to, 364 Lowell Street and check out that vernal pool. I thought it would be great, since it kind of fell through with everyone this week, that we can try to find a time that Will could be there, because he was really,
Yeah.
at each site visit.
No.
19th.
Back-
is
back-
19th, 18th or 19th.
So we're thinking the 18th, that would be the Tuesday. I don't know if anyone wants that day, or if any other day works.
Which,
He's not, I don't think he'll be back in the morning of the
he's not
18th.
back until, the 18th is Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, he said he wasn't back until the 18th.
You know what, I don't have that either. I don't think you sent it to me either.
Really?
Well, he said that there were, the problem, Chuck, is there were 2 different emails. The first email was, remember, I'm not gonna be back until the 18th. And then the second email was when you had proposed Thursday, this week.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't really need to see it again, he'd seen only needed. Now, that's because he was there when they were chorusing, as I was.
So Willie did say, or Chuck, he did send it to you, he did CC you on 364 Lowell Street, so it's that email chain. And it says, I won't be home till the 18th, I have all the info I need to make a decision.
Right, but that's all he sent to you.
So if he's not interested in another site visit, then are we okay not having another one?
I'm okay going back out on,
Why are we going at it? I'm not disagreeing with it, but why are we going back at it?
Because there was an email that Will sent to us from Leo that said, on occasion, he hasn't found, egg masses, but had returned later and saw,
Tadpoles.
tadpoles, so blah, blah, blah.
That was the.
We're hoping to find,
Immaculate conception.
we're
No, that-
hoping to find something.
Right, I mean, I think the catch-22 here is this. I believe that my reading, as inaccurate as it is of what the state says about VPs, is that recordings of chorusing wood frogs are sufficient to demonstrate that there's a VP there.
Right.
And we not only have a recording, we have 3 independent individuals, 2 on the commission.
Observation.
That was mentioned in one of the email chains.
Yeah,
I forgot who it was.
In my mind, I'm
Oh,
totally
I forgot.
convinced there's a vernal pool there.
right.
I'm not sure I know where it is, though.
Right, that's, the catch-22, obviously, is we're supposed to be able to find the edge of the high water.
Right.
And when Will was out and I went out, Will and Bill Manuel were both in waders, and they were probing. Now, it turned out that, as you may remember, it got relatively cold very quickly after the chorusing.
Yep.
So, if there were minute tadpoles at that stage of the game, they were either they were dead or they went into the mud.
Yeah. That young tadpoles generally can't. The older ones can.
Yeah, but you don't really know what happened. They didn't see anything, and there was the one dead wood frog you found,
I
right?
found a wood frog. I was checking for anything, caddisfly, I was very sure, anything. I had this little screen with me. That's what I was doing around the edges. So I didn't have anything. There's a lot of algae in that water,
Yeah.
and I was talking to Bill, and we both feel like it's gonna fill up with algae real quick, so the longer we wait, the less we're gonna find. They wanted to get it done the end of this week or the beginning of next, but I'm available Friday. I mean, I can definitely tell him Friday morning I would be okay, or someone else can get down there earlier, that would work out.
I think Friday would be good. As I said, I'm absolutely convinced there's a vernal pool there, but I'm not sure, but I feel confident in saying that the stream channel itself is not a vernal pool.
So we have to
So I
find out
think-
what it is though, because we can't say we have jurisdiction on something until we
Right.
find
Well,
what the limit
Right,
You know,
I
oddly,
think there's
It's up to the
probably,
applicant,
there's
though, to-
probably an isolated depression, vernal pool, somewhere in the floodplain of that channel, is my
What-
guess, but we don't know where that is.
The fundamental problem you have is as the channel tends to hug the back of Plymouth Road, okay? There is, a substantial, set of growth, woody growth, between that channel and the edge of the property at 364,
Right,
okay?
right.
The
I'm with you.
difficulty you have is at this stage of the game, they appear to be hydraulically connected. At least when I was out there, this was when Will and Bill Manuel were out.
What are we talking about here?
What I was saying is that the channel hugs the Plymouth Road side,
Okay,
okay? But there is a substantial amount of woody vegetation, between the channel and 364. And at the edge of 364, the water line bellies into 364's property, okay? What I can't say, because we didn't find anything, is, and this is a guess, is that it's likely that at flood tide, those two things are connected, but that what happens is that the channel, the
It's
bellied in
isolated.
part by 364 is not hydraulically connected once the water slows down a little bit.
That makes sense.
But we still haven't found anything
But
there.
if we
and
found tadpoles in that area, that would be very informative.
That's right.
So that's what we're looking for, see
Right.
where the tadpoles are.
Right, and if you two guys can get out there on Friday, I
Well, I
can't
can
make
be
it.
out there on
cannot.
Friday after the Stonewell Road trees.
oh, you're gonna, not this Friday.
Oh, next
I'm
Friday.
talking next Friday, that's when I can make it.
Okay,
Okay.
This
so-
Friday is
wait a minute, wait a minute.
available, I believe, in the morning also for people, but Will won't be
but I
there.
would, I think it would be good to open it up for the maximum number of
Yeah.
constituents.
So you're saying
to make it.
Friday the 23rd?
Alright, tadpoles might be gone by then.
Well, it's a risky run.
If the tadpoles are gonna be there,
You're
they'll be
not-
there now.
Yeah,
Well,
you're not gonna get out
We
there
can just
without
find the frogs
we pick-
instead.
vision.
What about
No,
Tuesday?
cause the frogs dissipate pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. That's the problem,
Well-
that
This Friday is,
Yeah.
no one,
No, like I said, I could get out there after the Stonewell Road trees. It's just that Will won't have an opportunity if he,
But he
Even though
said
he
he
says
didn't
he's
wanna see
sufficient.
it.
but I think
well,
Will,
the next time was
But he might-
Tuesday morning.
yeah,
And that, I mean,
If-
that's a
if
few
that's too
days,
late.
I'm not sure if
Yeah,
that,
Well, can, Bill, Manuel make it this Friday? If Bill and Chuck can make it this Friday and go out there and look for tadpoles, that'd be perfect in my mind.
Friday I can't do it,
because you have the.
yeah, I have the vernal pool workshop,
right.
what time's it start,
So
9?
sometime next week.
I mean, I
even
could get there at
Monday.
like 7 in the morning and check it out, but, I could.
Where's the workshop?
Do we need the
in
permission?
Belmont.
Yes, we do.
Basically going from my house
The-
over to
the
here,
other
back to my
issue-
house.
I think from the standpoint of it's entirely, they would prefer for Manuel to be there.
Oh, no, yeah, they want manual.
They
there.
want Manuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, the catch-22 here is if we're there and we find something, arguably, they're not gonna respect that, but, you know, the truth is, we heard the frogs. You know, so there's frogs in that neighborhood, and it's very clear that it was quite directional. We didn't go on 364 because Bill Manuel wasn't there the night I was
You
listening,
didn't
and
have the permission.
we didn't have their permission.
Right.
but it was quite directional. If you did a 180 and faced the other way, the large swamp, there was no frog noise. Do the 180 in the back of whatever that house number is off Plymouth, and
There
you
they
hear
were.
'em. And, you know, we stayed out there for a half an hour. And it was not a cacophony like you get on the website, but it sure was chorusing.
Yeah, I listened to that today, and I didn't, I was having a hard time hearing them with the recording and that overlapping volume, I
Yeah, the-
wasn't blasted by.
The
but-
interesting thing about it was, as I say, it wasn't the stuff you get on the website, which of course is wood frogs and some serious 10 million of them. But it was quite clearly wood frogs. They would chorus, there was a break, they would chorus, there was a break. We were out there for, 20, 25 minutes. I put it in the email, whatever time we
Yeah.
were out there. And I brought my wife along simply because she's interested in this kind of stuff. I said, oh, I'll go listen to the website. So she listened to the website and said, oh, God, that's what the website sounded like. So it wasn't just my old pet peeves.
No, I think it's pretty clear from all the emails back and forth that the chorusing that was recorded and heard is enough.
Right. The real issue is you'd love to find tadpoles or something else.
Well, I think the real issue, we have to find out where the vernal pool is though.
Well, that's right.
Right,
And-
the
and that-
location is what we're all about here.
Yeah,
And,
so we don't really have to find the eggs, we just have to establish that there's a vernal pool there, because we've already heard the frogs.
well, yeah, but the catch-22, of course, is we know it's not in the stream channel,
Right.
okay? Because that stream channel flows, and you said you saw fish in it at one point, or at least you saw it by the railroad.
I saw a great blue heron catch a fish.
Really? Because that's exactly where I found the wood frog, right in that drainage ditch next
Might
to
have
the
been,
railroad.
might have been with, great blue heron that took him out. There are a fair number of great blue herons in that,
Yeah.
marsh.
Right.
You're talking not on the Austin Prep side, you're talking about on the
Yeah,
site side.
Yeah, but because what they do is, there's a lot of them over in the other side, but they fish any place they find fish.
Yeah.
They're good about that. They're good fishermen.
So that's Plymouth Road, that's before this site. So if you
Right,
drive down Plymouth Road to the end,
Yeah.
there's a dirt road, and on one side is this wetland that we're talking about next to
364.
Yeah, 364, but on the other side's that drainage ditch.
Right. And
That's where the wood frog was found. That thing goes way up and down. When we were there, it went well past all the houses on Plymouth Road.
Right.
and is that drainage ditch connected to the channel at low water?
Well, that's what I thought you were describing, and I was trying to visualize how much water would have to get in there. That's a pretty high, kinda like dike.
So
Between the
that
two.
that drainage ditch
Wait,
could
wait.
be the vernal pool.
Wait, are you
And
talking
that
about?
has a connection through a culvert underneath
to the other
No,
side.
and
the other
that-
side.
Oh.
You
that
gotta check that
also-
out.
That's not a
that-
drainage ditch, that's, excuse me, Nick, that's the main channel that goes under
Oh,
that
that's the main
culvert.
channel?
Yes,
Hmm.
But that also has a connection to the wet area behind 364,
It
because.
would have to go all the way up to that other street past our site, Dustin,
I don't-
and then there's kind of like a low area, and maybe it would turn around and get in through there.
What ends up happening is.
That could be something to be
No,
checked
I
out.
think,
If you're right behind the last house on Plymouth, okay?
Mhm.
The channel widens out, and there's actually a finger of land. The finger of land is between the drainage area, right at the base of the
Yeah,
slope of the railroad tracks. And then this thing turns so that there's water on both sides of this finger of land. The drainage dish on one side, and there's a wet area.
And we walked that. I'm not remembering that, cause I didn't wanna, there was a bunch of branches through there, and I didn't
Right.
wanna walk in the
Right.
water. So
Right.
I walked along the side of it, all the way down to the end, and then came back up the other way.
It depends on how high the water is and when.
That's probably,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Because I
probably
can
it.
tell you that Bill Manuel was in with a pair of waders,
Oh, yeah.
okay? And the difficulty is, it could be there, it also could be in this belly that goes into 364. if you look at the way 364 is, um, there are a couple of sort of fingers into that stream channel. And then there is a belly that cuts into 364 and makes it a good deal wider
Yeah, to that area.
toward that
Yeah,
lower
kinda, it's in
end.
the back.
You mean between 364 and Plymouth?
Yeah, right. And what ends up happening is if you go behind the last house, it's not so obvious, but if you're behind the blue one, whatever the number was that I was behind, and you go into his backyard, you can see this thing, it's a flat expanse of water, a fair amount of brush in it, growing brush. And there does appear to be a wider area.
Yeah, it's button bush, that's what's in there.
Where is 364 on your diagram?
Well, this would be Lowell. And, this would be the house with the existing old house. And this would be the lot.
Okay,
You know, that approximately with that approximate dirt driveway, the asphalt reinforced pavement. It's obviously not just gonna run, it's made a couple glitches back here, but anyway, but we walked, when we parked here
Yeah.
during one of the site visits,
Yeah.
we walked the dirt area here, and it was, no, that's true, the channel kept going here,
Right.
didn't it?
Yes,
Right.
It kept does it go all the way, connects to the wetlands here?
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay,
it
so
goes
it
all the
connects
way
all
to P&S.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so this
It connects to the
wetlands-
wetlands on the
But
opposite side.
But it effectively stops near this culvert because we walked up here and over the train tracks.
There's substantial flow through that culvert.
Right.
There is, absolutely. Now, there was also, so there was this berm tree area here, and we walked, and it was mucky, and it was getting, right about here, it was getting low.
Right.
Especially the time of year, it was starting to flood up. And there was a tiny black
Connection.
pipe
Right, connecting.
right there.
Oh, so do
There
we
was
think,
it was like
does
60
Will-
inches.
does Will and Bill think that the vernal
Very.
pool is that area right next to the house at 364? Do you
No,
think
I
that's
don't
the
think
vernal
so.
pool?
Let me draw my wood frog.
Okay, well, that helps.
Dead wood frog.
Yeah,
Okay,
Dead
let me,
wood frog.
let me,
that's where I found that
That
guy.
helps.
Incidentally, once you
if
read.
this is Plymouth and the back of the house is at Plymouth, it appears that the water sort of goes like this, pretty much down Plymouth, okay? It's not perfect,
No,
but there's a couple of fingers of land that stick out.
yeah,
So it's basically a fairly narrow channel up here near the house, and this finger comes out, but you get down in this area, and there is,
a high spot right there.
there's a high spot.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
and between 364 and the high spot, there's kind of a belly. All right, so the channel might be in here, but there's a whole bunch of this button bush, as you called it.
Yeah.
In here. And if you were standing, this is the last house, if you're standing at the one that we listened to in their backyard, and you were facing this direction, there was a fairly flat expanse of water, and that was the direction from which the chorusing was coming.
Yeah.
this is the spot, this is the house that Fran identified the vernal pool in this area. She has that on,
Right.
kind of like a site visit sheet,
Okay.
possible vernal pool location.
So,
Right there.
Anika, that kind of
you were
blue,
standing
almost
in the earth.
S-shaped thing that you drew, what is that?
Where?
This up here?
No.
I was trying to approximate the wetland between 364 and the back houses of the houses on Plymouth.
Oh, here's the other one here.
A little
Is this
skating
the other road,
rink.
Dustin?
That's the other road, that's Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin. So down at the end of Dustin, you could almost, the road almost continues straight
It
through.
does,
Right,
it
right.
does.
And then that's where
Squishy.
there's a pallet kind of in
Yeah.
the way area.
Right. And there,
the
and
way
there's
up through the
a
grass.
very
Yeah.
low wet spot, depending upon, again, how much water is around.
And there was,
Right.
there's a skating rink or something, right? That little-
There was a skating rink,
Right there.
Oh, there
Right there.
was?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I looked
an
through the
abandoned
culvert, and that
skating
was-
rink.
That seemed to be fairly clean, cause I
Right.
wanted
Right.
to check that out.
And
But there-
somebody, was it you, Jamie, who said that those culverts were what, 7 feet deep?
That's what Mike told us.
7 feet, this was a round culvert, is this?
No.
No, square
This is
one.
the one under the railroad tracks.
I thought it was round under the.
No,
I didn't
no,
see
it's
any-
square.
I didn't see a
It's
square
about
culvert.
2 feet wide, and he said, he told
On the
us
other
it was
side.
7 feet deep.
I didn't see I saw a round culvert, I didn't see the black pipe, I didn't see a square culvert, I only saw this round one.
No, the one under the railroad tracks is square.
No.
No, I don't think so, because I
don't
don't
It's
think
got a
so.
flat, it's flat on top, I don't know what's
but
there
it
on
was
the
flat.
bottom.
on the other side
I don't think so.
when you're in the wetlands and
I think I
it was
took
a
a
round
picture
coming
of it.
out.
I did too.
I might be thinking of the wrong place then. The one I'm thinking
I
of
might be thinking of
is,
the wrong.
has a granite,
I
square,
thought it was a
flat
rectangular
granite
granite
top on
top.
the top, what?
And it was a few feet, maybe a foot below, the water was a foot below the top, or 18 inches.
And
below
you
the
saw
I
a
think we all need
round,
to go back
No, I
out
didn't
to
see a round.
360.
I thought it was square.
no, the one I'm talking about is definitely square.
Really?
Sorry, wrong meeting. I apologize.
That's all right, you can come
You
in.
feel free to join us.
No, no, that's okay.
You'll be bored in no time.
That's not there.
Well, yeah, I know the one that I'm thinking of is square. Whether it's right there or not, I cannot guarantee you. But I think
I'm
there's only
pretty sure.
one big culvert under the railroad track.
It is a big.
It was about that wide,
Right, about that wide.
and I didn't see any arch at the top.
There's
It
no
wasn't,
arch.
it looked to me like an old granite culvert.
Absolutely.
Maybe I missed that detail. I remember taking a picture of it. Brian looked down, he looked straight through that culvert. And I remember looking at it and go, oh, that's about 2 feet and it's,
Well, wait a
2
minute.
feet and it's round.
Two-
Perfect,
How
perfect
could he-
sphere.
He was on the other side of the
No,
railroad?
no, no, he got way down to the water. I mean, it was half
Yeah, but
to 3/4
where were you
inundated.
that you could see Brian through the culvert?
No, I couldn't see him through. He was in front of the culvert. He was
Oh, okay.
standing, you know.
We need to look at
You
that
need to
culvert
go
again.
back. Okay, so coming back
But
to
but the
when
point
can we
is-
get out there?
Yeah, I didn't see any giant, I gotta tell you, I didn't see any giant culvert.
I didn't.
No,
didn't
this
either.
isn't. It's only that wide.
But no,
But Mike tells us it's 7 feet deep.
I didn't see
Culvert,
any
yeah.
culvert that wasn't just a normal, I don't know, 20-inch culvert that was made out of cement.
Yeah, I would be
This
amazed
is
if
under
that
the
was-
railroad
round.
track. This is under the railroad
This
track.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
what I'm
There's
talking
only
about.
one under the railroad track.
Well, the one we're looking at is round. Yeah, the one I saw was round.
There must be
We'll have
two.
to-
There must
we'll
be
have to
two
go.
under the railroad
There
track
must
then.
be.
Because I know this
I
one
remember
round.
it being round though, the one that
Alright.
went under the
We're
track.
talking
Mystery.
different locations then.
Because I think Bill's confirming what you're saying, so you two both saw
Of
the
course,
same
you know,
thing.
that
and,
could be that our minds are rectilinear and yours is spherical.
Actually, you know what, Chuck? You might take a look at the river report. There might be a picture of that culvert in the river
Oh, it'd be
report.
nice to just look at the
Because that
report
was
then.
a choke point in the model.
Okay. Oh, all right, so we sent that report to Bill Manuel, and he said it stops before, his site.
Before?
Yeah, that's what his comment was,
What stops before his
the
site?
river report.
No.
Oh,
It goes way upstream of his site.
Okay.
okay.
I mean, on the Aberjona.
Yeah, he said it doesn't have, there was no information on his site in there.
Okay.
But I could check it out, and I can also, you know, with tomorrow, I could drive down Dustin Road and see what I can see.
Or go down,
I could go
go
tomorrow.
down, Plymouth.
Yeah, down Plymouth.
Go down Plymouth, cause the lady at the end house, in the red house,
Yep.
is more than happy to have you tromp through her
Oh,
yeah. Yep,
side
yep.
yard.
When I saw it, we accessed it from the railroad tracks. We walked down the railroad tracks, then walked down the embankment to that culvert. That's how we
Safer
got
way
there.
to do-
What, that was when you were doing the river study?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we likewise, you weren't with us, but Will,
Really?
Terry, and you and I,
Brian,
Brian.
and Brian,
Yeah.
we actually also climbed over the railroad tracks, okay? And
Yeah.
again, my memory supports yours, I thought it was a rectangular. And I was surprised when someone said it was very deep, cause it,
We were all shocked, but
Yeah.
Mike swore up and down that it was. He said he'd been in there when he was a younger man,
Mike who?
Mike
Devergard,
Devergard, with and probed the thing, cause
Back
it
in
was,
the 1880s.
I'd be surprised, but that's cool.
Cause I know the one down the
Bringing
street,
another camera.
down over here, whatever
See.
the, field is down in this direction, is a square culvert that goes underneath the road.
Castine Field?
Yeah, is that what that one is, Castine Field? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a square culvert, someone
It
said you
is.
could walk through.
It is, but that's a lot, wider than the one that
Kinda
we're
like
looking at.
stone culvert though. Alright,
Okay, so
Bill
back to.
says,
That goes under Birch Meadow
we
Road.
can meet Thursday, Bill says he can meet Thursday at 8, which I don't think is available at this moment, cause I
8:30.
don't have his home phone number. And, which is tomorrow, or any day but Monday next week. So that leaves Tuesday still.
That leaves Tuesday. Why don't we just shoot for Tuesday then?
Yeah, I'm
We'll
thinking
just
if we
roll
get
the
Will
dice
out
and
there.
take our chances.
and
If Will
Anika.
wants to go,
Jamie, can you make
Is it the
Tuesday?
20th?
Or-
I'll try.
I can't, I
I
just
am,
can't be there, I've got
Tuesday 8:30.
a bunch of medical stuff.
I've gotten in way over my head. Time commitments.
It's,
It just sounded funny. I said that.
I'm way over my head.
Way over
There's
my
7
head.
foot
What are you
culvert.
Okay. So that was very important. The only thing I wanna follow up with is, I don't have your email that has the changes on it, so I can't send it to Kim. I just
Ah.
checked.
Well, who printed it out?
Ann, so this is just, Ann has to be, I'll, when I get into work, I'll talk to Ann.
Okay,
Or if
I'll
you wanna just
resend
send
it.
it to,
I'll
Kim right
resend
now.
it to you and Kim. Let me make a note to myself.
How about I just resend it now?
Okay.
Do you have
Oh,
these
you have it?
changes?
Technology.
Well,
You have the one that Ann sent?
I have the one that Jamie sent. Please see my additions to the attached and can we
That
have a
would be
couple
it.
of copies
Am I
showing
on
track
that?
changes?
Jamie.
And Gentile, no?
No, I'm not. There you
It's
go.
only Ann?
No,
It's Ann, Brian, Bill, Will, Terry,
I saw it.
and now I just put.
Yeah, cause when Ann first.
Were you obviously
Send
were on
that
your
to
list.
me.
on it. Yeah.
CC me.
And Kim, what's your email?
K Saunders.
At
ci.reading.ma.us.
Dot Earth, dot solar system, dot
okay,
this side of the
Kim.
galaxy.
Thank you.
Good rock from the sun.
If it doesn't have the
Thanks, I appreciate it.
appropriate file stuff, just. Okay.
I think I made it a dot rather than a
Chuck, is there-
dot X.
Chuck, is there anything else?
That's all I needed to.
Site
say.
visit for Memorial Day weekend?
Okay, yeah, that's the other thing. You guys
Yeah.
having a site visit on Memorial Day?
Who can make-
Memorial Monday.
That's Monday, 5/26. It is Memorial Day. I don't
29th?
think,
Is that the 29th? 28th.
28th is our meeting.
28th is our meeting.
So it's 26.
The Monday
26th
before
would be
is
Monday,
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
It's the 26th, right?
I'd rather do it on Tuesday.
Wanna do it on Tuesday?
This is the Cumberland Farms.
Well,
Yeah, what are we
no,
gonna
it's the
see?
whole week's worth, the whole meeting's
It
worth.
would be Cumberland Farms.
That's
They-
a pretty small site visit.
Yeah, it's not,
How-
it's not much.
How much, what else have we gotta see?
What do we say
Did
Tuesday?
you got-
We don't know yet. I
Right
mean,
now, we're just Cumberland Farms.
Why don't we just say
Are we talking about
Tuesday?
going out to San
For
Juan?
new stuff.
Back to San Juan?
You wanted to go see House Steak.
Oh, right.
Everything's staked out there.
We're gonna see Stan.
Okay,
who-
so
why
Cumberland
are we gonna
Farms
do
and
that? I've
Sanborn.
forgotten already.
Cause somebody
See
had
the
asked where
houses
the
staked out?
corners of the houses would be.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think they
it's-
just have the largest,
Right, it's the large footprint, it's
Yeah.
it's the big, it's not necessarily where a house is gonna be, it's the biggest footprint you could get.
well, it will be, the house will be there, but it won't, may not be that size.
Right,
It won't be beyond.
it won't be beyond.
Okay, so
Tuesday the 27th.
Tuesday at 6 is fine. I think.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So,
Okay?
AM or PM?
so you're definitely gonna have Jameson coming up at
I
the
don't
next
do mornings.
meeting,
Right.
and they're gonna insist that you decide on the variance.
Right,
Yeah.
And you're gonna have Cumberland Farms, and you are also going to have 306 Main Street, which is the Pizza World site.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Maybe.
Well, yeah,
We
yeah,
don't need
maybe
to
that
do
was
it, we
continued
don't
for
need to do
another-
a site visit for 306.
No, we don't.
Was he just
No.
talking about maybe making everything smaller?
well, he
Yeah,
had,
we asked him to.
yeah, he's got two problems, okay, the first one is,
He's out of
we'd
money.
like to have it smaller,
Yeah.
and planning and zoning is already upset with how little parking he's got.
No, that's wrong.
Well, that's what he said.
He has 3 more spots than measures out by his tables. So table and seating defines parking, and he has more than he needs.
But he also has the delivery people.
That's his
Yeah,
problem.
that's all included. They're talk about employees too in that.
No, they talk about employees for parking.
But delivery is
He's
different.
got, in addition to his employees, he's got a bunch of guys.
But how are they not employees?
Well, they are, but what ends up happening is have you ever seen that place on
Well, at
Friday
the
or Saturday?
DRT meeting, there was more, so I don't know if there's less now, but
No,
I'm
what ends
thinking
up-
there's more.
What ends up happening is, on a Friday night, if you happen to try to go by Main Street, they're double and triple parked in the no parking zone outside Pizza World. Simply because everybody wants a pizza between, 5:30 and 7 o'clock.
So, all right, so I get it, but what I'm gonna tell you is that he has more parking than he needs, and he's in the 35-foot area.
Well, that's,
And I'm gonna
that's
top
pretty
that off
simple.
with another thing. He emailed me, I thought I emailed everyone, but he wants a discussion to talk about structures. And he's just wants to know why building doesn't consider pavement a structure, engineering doesn't consider pavement a structure. These are personal conversations he's had with the building inspector and George. And we're considering it a structure, and he doesn't understand what that is, and
We were suggesting permeable gravel or something.
Well, we suggested permeable pavers, that was one possibility. We
he also has to get
suggested
into the
reducing
variance.
But if he's in the 35-foot setback and he has more parking spaces than required by zoning, then he's gonna have to take some of them out. There's no reason to grant a variance,
Right.
if he has more than he needs.
Right, if he doesn't meet the zoning requirements, we could argue. that
He could make
might
a
grant him
case.
a variance, we might ask for permeable pavers, but if he's got more than is required, so.
Anything else?
I have one other thing
Go ahead.
before we leave.
Yep, and I have something too,
You go ahead.
unless you,
You go ahead.
it might be the same thing. Is the next meeting your last?
No,
So
I
are you
served through the end of June,
through the end of June?
Oh,
June
I wanted
30th
to
is
get an
my,
understanding on that.
no, I believe my term,
I thought you said July.
July
No.
1st is,
No, the end of July.
No, it's not the end of July.
no, that's,
Terry, is your term up also?
My term is up the end of June, but I just responded that I wanted to
Okay.
consider.
yeah, no, in fact, what I was debating is where we would be on 364 Lowell, and I'm assuming we'll take a vote next time around on their variance, and I wanna vote on the variance.
Let's play this out. Let's say they come for a variance and they don't get the variance. They will probably make another submittal.
Right.
And I think you were gonna offer to stay on the commission until we settled 364 Lowell.
Well, my own, I don't, for 23 years. Well, having heard all of 364, I would be reluctant to sort of walk off the commission, but I don't know how I handle that with the selectmen, because I'm not legally.
Brian
So what
Tucker,
you do-
Brian Tucker worked
Member
it
at
out.
large?
This has happened before,
Meredith?
where a member did say yes. Yeah, didn't Brian
Brian
say-
stayed on
did.
till the end of what? Oh, the change in the regulations.
Right,
Change the regulations, so you could say yes to the letter, and then
I already
Resign.
said it in saying no,
First
so.
Oh,
the first one that gets
can you
on
pull it out of the
is your
selectmen's?
spot.
Yeah, well, I will write to Bob LaLacheur and say, we have an issue at 364. I'd be willing to serve through the conclusion of 364, not just the variance, but through the conclusion,
If it should extend past July.
if it extends past July 1st.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, it's really unfair, given the amount of time we put in on
Right.
364.
Right,
To walk. Of course, you realize that it's gonna cause my death when I go home.
yeah, that's all right. What
So you won't even have me for the next 3 meetings, I'm gonna be a dead man.
Someone's waiting behind the door.
what
If
I,
you watch this on television, I'm gonna be toast.
What
They
I
should have
want-
changed the locks.
what I wanted to bring up is related to that. As evidenced by tonight, we are short members,
Yes, we are.
and
Yes, we are.
we need to do something about that. And we've talked about around this a little bit, but I think we need to take positive action. I don't think the selectmen are actively seeking new members. I don't think
interviewed
Bob
Richard
is.
Volunteer.
propose that, the chairman write a letter to Bob and say, this is a real problem. We had to turn people away who showed up for a meeting because we couldn't formulate a
We
quorum.
didn't have a quorum that would meet the state ethics rules.
And we are
Yeah.
losing, a member at the end of next month, and that, this is a critical situation that could impair development and economic opportunity within the town of Reading.
He doesn't wanna hear that.
Well, if he hears that, maybe he'll do something about it.
But I will write to him and say I will serve until 364.
Well, let him find some new member, no.
No, why don't you write
Yeah.
your letter first?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I can, at the last minute, say, because we don't know what's gonna happen with 364.
Right.
Oh, I hope you guys aren't.
But,
Do you wanna draft something and email me?
Sure.
move adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Leave.
Done.